Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you from Braden. Do you mind?
Sorry.
Dude, first episode you're on, you're just typing on Snap. Ridiculous. Welcome to the Spit Studios in Burnaby, British Columbia, Canada. We are so excited to have you guys in. Before we get into all of our sports talk, obviously big NFL day, Canucks, huge Hattie from a certain former Boston Bruin. But before we get into all of that, I want to introduce all of you to Caleb Templeton. As you can tell, he's a sad Giants fan. Big football guy. And then also over here, Braden Coombs. Not quite as cool as Luke Combs, but close enough. And we are very excited to have them both in here. Obviously, the more the merrier when it comes to sports talk, getting different perspectives and all of that stuff. And especially on our local hockey team who have had one hell of a road trip. I gotta be honest. They have won, 4 or 5, even in a game that all signs pointed to them absolutely taking a dump in, 9:30 start. We could barely watch the game. Everything pointed to their internal clocks shutting down and them not playing their best game. They were still able to beat a decent Detroit Red Wings team. And obviously Jake DeBrusk, huge hat trick. And Big Red, I'm going to start with you because I know you've got some questions about where the Canucks are right now. What do you want to start with?
Just going to point out a few things, like comparing DeBrusk to Lindholm. Because right now I believe DeBrusk is at 10 goals and 9 assists. Mm-hmm. And Lindholm, 2 goals, 13?
Oh, he's been awful.
Yeah, so just... And Lindholm was like $8 million.
Yeah.
And DeBrusk $5. So just how important it is to have that pay cut for someone who's been playing better than Lindholm was with us.
It's huge. The only thing that hesitates me is that Lindholm is the type of player who regular season he's good, playoffs he's great. Just because of the two-way element. Like he's obviously not Tyler Myers or Carson Soucy, but like under that same umbrella of you stay away from my regular season team. Oh, okay, when the physicality and defense turns up, we want you on our squad. So I feel like that's a element that people aren't talking about. But even with that, man, like we've been wanting a scoring winger for Pettersson for 4 years now. He's fit right into that.
Sure. Brain. Yeah, because, Lindholm wouldn't have done much because he wouldn't be playing top 6 minutes. They tried him with Pettersson, doesn't work out. Tried him with Miller, doesn't work out. So you're paying a guy $8 million to be your third-line center. Wouldn't have worked out. Plus, DeBrusk seems to be clicking with Pettersson so far. That's working really well.
Yeah, it's been awesome to see.
He's also a really good playoff performer, DeBrusk. Mm-hmm. He scores a lot of goals for Boston.
He's also been in all of those big spots because Boston's always in the playoffs, and they're always good. Except this year, which is also a quick sidebar, like the expectations you must have as a franchise to fire your coach who's been to a Stanley Cup final and obviously multiple playoff runs after you're not even below average. You're just
won the Jack Adams too.
Yeah, exactly. You're not even below average. Like I think they were 3rd in the division when they fired him.
Yeah.
Like the expectations are just crazy over there in Boston.
It's obvious he's a good coach. He went to St. Louis within 48 hours.
Yeah, really, really quick. And every single player who got interviewed is yeah, we lost a great coach, but we lost a better person. And that's always the sign of someone that you don't want to leave the locker room when you don't just talk about how they are professionally, but how they are personally, which is huge as a coach. Anyways, back to the Canucks. The impressive thing that's about this road trip, on top of them winning 4 of the 5, obviously that's really good. No Miller for the entire road trip. Yeah. Hughes gets tossed for nothing. I still don't.
Tossed for a minor penalty.
I'm sorry. That was just insane. Whatever. You have Tyler Myers as your second best defenseman, technically. Do you guys think Brandstrom's better than him? I don't know.
I think Brandstrom's actually stood up so well.
I agree.
He's been playing so well.
I think Brandstrom deserves the second line.
Yeah.
For D instead of 3rd.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think they should give it a shot. But Soucy's starting to perform a bit better, but he's not a top 4 defenseman.
Speaking of defensemen, what do you guys think of Hronek playing way better when he's not with Quinn Hughes? What is there a reason for that, you think?
I think he gets the puck more because Quinn Hughes just needs the puck to be able to do stuff, and he does that extremely well. Mm-hmm. One of the best in the league, and when Hronek's with Hughes, he just doesn't have that puck time. I think. So when he's the dominant puck carrier, I think that's when he shines.
Totally agree. Because that was his role in Detroit forever.
Yeah.
He was easily the best defenseman on a very, very bad Red Wings team for
sure.
a long time. But the thing is, that's most impressive to me about the Canucks is not only how they've been able to overcome their defensive shortcomings. Like, I'm looking at Daily Faceoff right now. Their second line is Niels Hoglander, Teddy Bluger, and Kiefer Sherwood. Now, no disrespect to those guys. I love Teddy Bluger. And obviously Kiefer Sherwood is a flat-out dog. But your second line is probably a really good fourth line. And Hoglander, they don't even want him on the team anymore.
No.
I mean, but the third line, you could argue that that's their real second line.
You could absolutely argue
With
that.
Joshua, Suter, and Garland.
Which is why this is the most optimistic Canucks fans should be all season. Right now.
I agree.
You got Miller out. He'll come back in, slot right into that second line center role, and then once that second line is serviceable, obviously you have maybe the best third line in hockey. And if Pettersson and DeBrusque keep clicking, that's three more than above average forward lines,
Yeah.
and that's exciting.
We're doing this without Hronik right now.
Yep.
And no Demko, of
No
course.
Demko as well.
I don't know when he's coming back. I feel like they say he's in like a day-to-day, but then we don't hear anything.
But how many days can he be out before it's not day to day? You feel me? Like, at what point is it just like, okay, maybe he's month to month or
Yeah.
the reporting on it's been so shoddy. I love Vancouver media, obviously. I'm trying to be a part of it, but it hasn't seemed like there's been just a certain like, yeah, this is what's happening,
Yeah.
and which is so frustrating for a goaltender of all positions. But apparently we're good in the net. Because this guy, Kevin Lankinen, just
Oh my God.
doesn't know how to lose hockey games. I don't know how else to put it. He's, undefeated on the road. I think he's 10-0.
10-0. NHL record.
NHL record. How many games has he lost in total? Like two? Two out of
12-3-2.
12-3-2, which is just unbelievable, especially when you compare him to Seelovs, who, well, what are the words to describe?
Fell off a cliff. I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I didn't think there was a playoff archetype for goalies, but apparently he's shattering the mold. Because that guy was unreal when Demko went out in the offs last year. Like, against Edmonton, I thought he was one of our 5 best players.
He's like 900 save percentage against that Edmonton team as a rookie goalie is insane.
Yeah, it took him to 7.
Yeah.
And it was not Game 7 was not his fault. So it's just crazy how goalies can go from here to here so quickly. But what this leads me into is obviously they're behind the same D and forward core majority of the time. Obviously people are in and out of the lineups. How much is Kevin Lankinen going to get if we re-sign him?
I don't think we'll be able to re-sign him. I think he might get over 5, to be honest.
Over 5?
It depends how much longer Demko's out for, but if he continues to be the starting goalie for the Canucks and continues to do what he does, like, the guy's going to get paid, and I don't think the Canucks can afford 5.
No.
I don't even think they can afford 2, to be honest.
What do you think? What do you think, Caleb?
I think, he'll get not 5, but like over 4, definitely.
Thing is, I gotta be honest. For me personally, any team who pays him over 5, I feel like in 2 years it's gonna be like, why do we pay him that?
I agree. It's going to be like a Jack Campbell type of
Yes.
Like I see that too. Like elite goalies stay elite, but good goalies sometimes like have 3 great seasons and then fall off.
Well, even like I've made this point in this exact room actually. Like even elite goalies, like Bobrovsky had a good 2-3 years where he just flatly wasn't good, and like obviously Sergei Bobrovsky, Kevin Lankinen. No disrespect, but like it's so year to year and play to play with goalies because a lot of it has so much not to do with you. Yeah. Like the difference in quality of shot between one timer cross crease and a straight up wrist shot on you, like that has a lot to do with your defense as well as your talent. So it's so year to year with goalies. Obviously, I would cry if we paid him $5 million, because I just flatly don't think we can afford it, especially if we want to resign Besser.
Yeah, I think he's gone. I think he'll help us a lot this year because even with Demko returning, you don't even know if it's going to be the same Demko that we saw last year. So if you have uncertainty and you want to make sure that Demko isn't overplaying too much, you have Lankinen in there who's caliber start. Oh, Jesus, what again?
Whoa!
He's
two of them.
Definitely, he would do perfectly fine at being the starter, even when Demko's back. Like if they have to split starts 50-50, I think Lankinen could easily do that, and it'll help us a lot, even just trying to get into the playoffs.
So here, I just came up with this. This isn't on the docket, but if Lankinen, let's just say, continues somewhat the same level of play, Demko comes back, is he the automatic starter? Or do you ride the hot hand?
You have to lead them in, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think you should push him right away. I don't think Demko's back. You start him 3 games in a row. I think they'll start 50-50 maybe, and then see which one starts to perform.
I agree
See if
with that.
Demko is feeling all right.
Yeah, I would definitely say, like, with Demko, you're in a situation where he has to be 100%, right? But in some other situations, if Lankinen wasn't playing good, maybe he's at, like, a 75%, push him in too early. But this isn't that situation. He'd definitely be 100% healthy, and that's when he'd finally play.
Goalie knee injuries, man. Like, it's just...
And one we've never seen before is just
Ugh.
And I mean, we
unbelievable.
tried it last year. We tried to force him back in before he was fully healthy, and I mean,
Look what happened.
made us not. Oh my god.
Dude!
I don't know what it
Holy!
is.
Well, you know, all you're doing is making my edit time longer, right?
Sorry.
Because I have to
Sorry.
search through every single one and take them out anyways. But obviously it's never a bad thing to have 2 good goalies. Boston's proven that, and obviously they're I think they're regretting their decision now to not just keep both of them, to be honest. Like, neither one of them is playing good hockey right now.
Yeah.
Which is interesting because, like I said, goalies are so year to year. But back to their roster right now. They're going into a game against the Wild tomorrow. Tomorrow. And I think that's second to last game of their road trip.
I believe it's the last game.
Last game. And then they have, I want to say, 4 days off. So that's a big game against Minnesota, who's been awesome this year.
They play after tomorrow. The next game's Friday against Columbus at home.
That should be that should be automatic.
Yeah.
But
You'd hope so, but
it's
it
the
is
NHL.
It is the Canucks at home this season.
It is. Oh my goodness gracious! Can we talk about that? Why are they so bad at home? Because I've given my theory. Do you guys have any other theories?
What's your theory again?
My theory is last year coming in, no expectations. If like a good year would have been winning a playoff round, which we did. That was a good season. This year, like, I feel like in Canucks' fans' minds, if you don't make the Western Conference Finals, this is a bad year. Like, you got Miller's in the heart of his prime. Hughes is the best player, maybe best defenseman in the world right now. Pettersson's at the top of his game. He's 26. Like, this is one of the years of your core and your prime where you have to get the job done.
Yeah.
And obviously, Canadian market, more
of
pressure
pressure,
than any other market, probably besides Toronto. And
Maybe Montreal.
Maybe Montreal, but they're bad, so it's just kind of a different level. So when they play at home, like, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure to get the job done. So I wonder if that wears on them, whereas when you're on the road, you're with the boys in the hotel room, you know, it's just kind of vibes.
Yeah.
Whereas at home, like, that home pressure can
Where
get
you
to you.
live,
Yeah, that's what I think.
Because their home record right now is 3-5-3,
Dude, like, that's...
which is
That's like...
that's bad for an away record.
Yeah, that's a bad
Yeah.
team. It's a bad team. Like, if you extend that out, that's what, like... I wanted 36 wins, something like that. Like, that's not a good season.
No.
Which is weird.
Yeah.
So disappointing for us too, because whenever you guys might go to a game, we're probably gonna.
Spend all that money.
I'm
Yeah.
seeing them on the 10th.
Are you? Who they got?
The Blues.
Oh,
Against
I'm
the
going to
Blues?
that game too.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, my dad won tickets.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I saw them lose an OT against Carolina, which they are a great team.
Agreed. Yeah.
So I mean,
okay.
you'll take an overtime loss against like a top team in the East.
Yeah.
So it was a pretty good game. You always hope for a win at home.
It's just beating the good teams. Like if I go through their schedule recently, it's a lot of wins against teams who are like either on the edge of the playoffs or like barely in a playoff spot. So obviously you beat the Red Wings, who are fine. You beat the Sabres, who are fine. You lose to the Penguins, which let's just
I don't know.
like dude,
Just
that was
It
so
took us
bad.
5 goals to settle in.
I couldn't
against them.
believe that. That was an awful game. You beat the Bruins when they were in shambles. This is right before they were firing their coach. Senators, who are fine. And then when you play the good teams, like Rangers, you lost.
Lost
Oilers
against the
got
Predators.
killed. Devils got killed. Lost to the Hurricanes. Like Panthers barely beat. Like when you play the good teams, got smoked by the Lightning.
Yeah.
That scares me. Because you can whoop up on all of the Pittsburghs
Chicago.
and Ottawas of the world. Like, that's cool. That's not who you're going to see in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So not being able to beat good teams so far concerns me.
This Minnesota game is quite important.
It's gonna tell a lot. It really is, and also like it's gonna tell a lot about the character. Last game of a road trip, like obviously the boys are probably more fatigued than they usually would be going in. It's gonna be a lot of heart in that game. It's gonna show me a lot. I wish we could talk about the Vancouver Canucks forever, but we do have some NFL topics to talk about. I had a phenomenal football Sunday. It was actually a pretty good slate. On paper, it did not look like a good slate.
It was a good slate.
It was a good slate. 10 a.m. games, like I want to say 4 or 5 of them came down to the wire.
Oh yeah.
Witching hour was awesome, and then Philly Ravens was the 1 p.m. game. 1 p.m. game for us.
Yep.
And I want to start there because that's obviously one of the best teams in the NFC, and a Ravens team that I think is awesome when they're at their best. But how often are they really at their best? And what I mean by that is, if you watch the game, which I know you did, the Ravens flatly dominated the third quarter.
Yeah.
Specifically, like, they dominated. I think they doubled them up in yards, but they have a kicker who...
I'm just going to say it. They need to cut Justin Tucker.
Really?
They do. He's costing them games. He cost them 7 points that game. And, listen, he's a Hall of Famer. Arguably the greatest kicker of all time.
No, that's Adam Vinatieri, but keep going.
Yeah, but he's costing them games.
Yeah.
There was another game. Well, it's Pittsburgh game.
Mm-hmm.
Another huge loss for the Ravens.
Yeah.
And 8-5. I mean, that team's better than 8-5.
Absolutely.
They should be like at least 10-3.
100%. Like the fact that they have 3 more losses right now than the Steelers.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm sorry. Like listen. I love. 2 more, my I love John Harbaugh.
Oh yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
But I can't help but notice every time I watch the Ravens, they don't look well coached. They lead the league in penalties.
Yeah.
It seems like every single time they need a big drive, they have some sort of stupid offensive penalty. Pre-snap, too.
Yeah.
These aren't like the defense being aggressive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This isn't offensive guys trying to make an extra block. It's stupid false starts and illegal shifts and illegal formations that just send them back into 1st and 20. And when you're the Ravens offense and your entire offense is predicated on running the football, you have to be ahead of the chains.
Yeah.
And when you're not, like, you're going to force Lamar to turn into a drop-back passer, which we all know is not what he does well.
Yeah. But I think he's been pretty well. Like, Lamar Jackson, if this team was, like, 11-2 or 10-3, I think he's the MVP.
Probably.
He's been able to drop back, I think.
Yeah. No, this is his best drop-back season. I don't know if I would quite give him MVP because he has another MVP candidate in his backfield. And Josh Allen doesn't. But
that's true. Yeah.
He would definitely be, like... It'd be him or Josh probably neck and neck, right?
Yeah, it would be.
I don't think Saquon would be in the conversation anymore.
No. And then if we're going by records, if the Bengals had a better record.
Yes. Joe Burrow's been unbelievable this season. I just want to shout out Joe Burrow.
Yeah. 300 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Right now.
Dude, and if you watch the Bengals, it's so crazy. He is their passing game and their running game at the same time. I know he doesn't run.
Chase Brown had a good game.
Chase Brown played well. Yeah. But most weeks, I would say, like, their run game is a Joe Burrow quick pass.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? To one of those tight ends, or obviously Jamar Chase, who's been also fantastic this season.
He's probably going to lead the league in touchdowns and yards.
Which is so crazy on a team like that.
Yeah.
And the Bengals defense might be the worst I've seen in a good team ever.
Haven't they scored like 30-plus points and lost all those games?
Well, they have scored 30. Well, I saw a stat. It was the league. When a team scores 35-plus this season, they're 40-2. When the Bengals score 35-plus, they're 2-4.
Yeah.
Oh
so it's really, really historically
And listen, I would say there was some other games where it was like it was not Burrow's fault at all. The Steelers game, he had the fumble, which was returned for a touchdown. I think he had 2 fumbles.
Yeah.
He had the pick. So
put the Patriots game on him.
Oh, the Patriots game was definitely on him.
Yeah.
But like the Washington game played literally perfect.
He played perfect football.
Yeah. And Jane Daniels played perfect too. The QB of the other team is having perfect games against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
And,
so what I want to say about getting back to the Ravens though, they're such an interesting team because week to week I don't trust them, but also if I was a fan of an AFC team, like the teams who I would least want to see in the playoffs right now would probably go Buffalo, Baltimore.
Yeah, I mean you'd have to throw Kansas City in there. just because of Patrick
No,
Mahomes.
fine, but
Oh my
like,
God.
no, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Little Mahomie.
But like, I watch every single Chiefs game. I watch most of these good teams every single game. Like, have you been impressed with any
No.
of their wins this season?
I haven't.
Maybe not even the Bengals win. Like
The thing is about the Chiefs, like in 2022, they had a perfect regular season and playoffs. But last year, their regular season, 11-6.
Yeah, they weren't.
They
great.
weren't.
They're
great,
playing bad football.
But in the playoffs, Mahomes does what he needs to do, and it's gonna be huge for Buffalo to get the 1 seed.
Yes.
I think that's gonna be huge.
Yes. And that was a huge game against the Chiefs because they had the head-to-head now.
Yeah.
So.
But the Chiefs still need to lose a game.
You know what the Chiefs need? They need tackles. Their offensive line is not good. And
Yeah, no.
that's when it comes to the playoffs, like, it's all about the trenches. It's
Yeah.
all about your offensive line and defensive
Yep.
line. Now the Chiefs can rush the passer, and obviously Chris Jones turns it up a level when it
Yeah.
comes to playoff time. But I really worry. Like, they put their guard out at left tackle for this game against Carolina because he was just getting burned every single play. So that's a concern. And the guy who they brought in to replace him is coming off an ACL tear, and he's like 36 years old. Is that going to solve all their tackle problems? I don't know. But I want to switch over to the Eagles real quick because I'm obviously it's no secret on this show. I mean, I'm pretty much part of the Lions, to be honest. I feel like I have some kind of title. Anyways, the Eagles terrify me.
Yeah.
Flatly terrify me. Not only because they might catch us for the 1 seed, but because they're locked into the 2 seed, and we can fall all the way to the 5 just because our division's so good. And if there's one thing that the Lions hang their hat on, it's their run game, their offensive line, and bend don't break defense. What does Philly do? Run the ball. Their offensive line is great. Then their defense is flatly better than ours is right now with the injuries. So the only glimmering hope I have, I don't trust the Eagles coaching. Not even a little bit.
Oh yeah. Nick Sirianni has been saved these last 8 games.
By his roster.
He should have been fired when they were like 2-2.
Mm-hmm.
And 8-0 in the last. I don't even know what he does.
I don't know what he does either.
I don't know what he does. I will say about the Lions Eagles though, and I know you love Jared Goff, but NFC Championship and it's Lions at Eagles, I don't trust Goff at all.
Why?
I just think it's gonna be cold weather. I think he's gonna be asked to do more than he has.
So how many times can Jared Goff win in freezing cold weather before it's just like, okay, maybe he's decent in cold weather? Because he went to Lambeau this year, beat the Packers. He went to Lambeau last year, beat the Packers. The year before that,
in
he
the
went
playoffs, though.
Huh?
Not in the playoffs.
No, I'm just talking in general.
Yeah, in general.
The year before that,
I'm not
Aaron
saying
Rodgers'
weather's
career in
like
Lambeau.
an issue. I'm just saying when it's that, I just trust the Eagles more in Philly.
Yeah, fine. Lions haven't lost on the road.
Yeah.
Like, just saying. Like, they are road warriors.
Yeah.
But Philly is terrifying. And do you have Saquon as your MVP right now, or is it Josh? You do?
And that
Why?
hurts as a Giants fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But listen,
I just guy like him.
I just want to say
He'd be nice fit on your team, eh?
He would not be the MVP if he was on the Giants.
Really?
He would not have as many yards and
Really?
touchdowns.
Really? I didn't
He
know
would
that.
not. So Tyrone Tracy's just fine for right now.
He is good. He's good. I wish I picked him up in fantasy when I had the chance. But I want to flip over to another game that these two know a lot about, actually, which is Seahawks versus Jets. Simply the worst special teams game I've ever seen since Lions versus Titans a few weeks ago. Yeah, boys, what happened?
I don't know how to
Couldn't even
explain.
tell you.
I don't know. I mean, Seahawks, what? They give a kick return TD, and then they fumble the ball.
The very next play.
Yeah. And
I
then
thought it was over after that. 21-7, I think it was.
Mhm.
Yeah, but at least they were playing the
Leonard
Jets.
Williams, big boy, getting a pick 6.
Pick 6 and 2 sacks.
Yeah.
What a game for him.
Do you think he's
Revenge
defensive player of
game
the
for
week?
him.
Should be.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, pick 6 and 2 sacks, that'll do it usually.
Yep.
What was crazy was in the first half, like their Jets passing game looked the best it has all year. Like Devontae Adams was cooking.
He was cooking.
He was
yes,
cooking,
yes.
and it looks like the Jets that we were promised before the season, really. Like they actually looked like the Jets, and then the Jets started to jet.
Yeah.
And we realize, oh wait, maybe Aaron Rodgers isn't in his prime anymore. Maybe he is.
Oh, not even close
Like,
to it.
maybe he's just a flatly bad quarterback. And Geno Smith made enough plays to win the game. Props to him. But
That's what he. I don't know.
He
That's
does
what he
every
does.
week.
that's what he does. That's what he
Just
does.
enough. Just enough.
Yeah.
So so I'm gonna ask you guys real quick because I did my quarterback rankings yesterday. So I'm gonna ask some guys who are close to Aaron Rodgers' caliber, and if you would take him or this other guy right now,
All
like
right.
this second, okay? Like
Yeah.
insert him on your roster.
Current.
Yeah, we're not talking for the future.
Yeah.
This year, who are you taking between these two guys? Aaron Rodgers or Bryce Young for the rest of the year?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Right.
Okay, Bryce Young. Let's just pretend like this is what's the best roster in the NFL right now. This is the Eagles quarterback. Okay, as the Eagles quarterback for this year,
Yeah.
who do you want? Okay,
Replacing Jalen Hurts.
sure.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins or Aaron Rodgers?
Kirk
This one
Cousins,
was close.
But he looked shit
Can I
yesterday.
pick neither?
What's the score?
Can I pick neither?
No, that's not the point of the game.
Listen, Kirk Cousins has been bad these past few weeks, but
he's
like
had better
he's had
games
way
than-
better games
He's had
this
better
year.
games.
He's way younger, so.
I would also argue
just-
the Jets are more talented than the Falcons.
Mm,
So Kirk's been better with less.
He's
for me.
just inconsistent.
but
this
like
season.
Bijan Robinson, he was like their entire offense yesterday.
I was told before the season that Breece Hall was going to be that.
Yeah, I feel like Bijan's been better.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if you look at the receiving core, I'll take Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams over Drake London and
Oh yeah, yeah.
fraud Kyle Pitts. Gosh, don't get me started.
I mean Kyle Pitts. I just want to say
You're
one
not-
thing
you're not
about
a Kyle Pitts guy.
How could you be?
one thing about Kyle Pitts is like the narrative his entire career was get him a quarterback, and Brock Bowers. Look at him with
That's a great point.
terrible
With
QB
Aiden
play.
O'Connell and Gardner
Yeah.
Minshew.
Aiden O'Connell played good that game.
He did. Played
But-
really well.
Like, and he also had Desmond Ritter too,
Mhm.
just like Pitts did.
No, true.
And yeah, Pitts has been disappointing in the league.
Well, he was Brock Bowers before Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
Remember coming out of that
Yeah,
draft? Like,
he's
he was like can't miss
generational. Yeah.
generational tight end and just been garbage. Anyways, back to these quarterbacks. Who else do I have in mind? Baker Mayfield. I don't think this one's
Baker,
close.
easy.
Baker, oh,
That's
Baker.
easy.
Baker's
That's
been
easy.
awesome this season.
Yes.
Like a quick shout out
And
to
last
Baker
season
Mayfield.
too.
Jameis Winston.
Jameis.
I'll save mine for last because I don't want to
I
influence.
think I'll take Jameis as well.
I was gonna take Rodgers.
I want Jameis.
Yeah.
Not only because of on the field, I think he just makes more plays nowadays. And in the locker room, who do you want, Mr. Eat W's or Mr. COVID vaccine? I don't know. It's not-
The guys like Jameis.
right,
Yeah.
he's
That
a
is
guy's
true.
guy. He's a guy's guy.
For sure.
And he, by the way, quick shout out, like the Browns were dead.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely dead with Deshaun, and as soon as he goes down, the Browns are fun watching him.
Yeah.
Which I think is a credit to him and his energy.
I think
fair.
some of that's just because of Deshaun too,
Mhm.
and you
I
know
mean,
what he
yeah,
Oh,
did.
that's fair.
Your quarterback's a guy who's in that much controversy, and I don't want to say he's guilty, but signs do point that way.
Aaron Rodgers or Bo Nix?
Bo
Nix.
Bo Nix. Like,
Nix.
this is anyways. We're doing different topics off this general point, but my general point is, I struggled to put Aaron Rodgers as a top 22 quarterback.
Yeah.
That was the number. I had him about 23, 24.
Yeah.
And gosh, that sucks.
Would you put Geno Smith?
I was like, I don't know, 18, 19.
That's fair.
He's definitely
This
ahead
season-
of
I'll take that.
Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll
but
take him over
this
Rodgers.
season. Yeah,
I'll
for
take him
sure.
over
He's
Rodgers.
definitely like low tens this season. Geno Smith.
Geno
Low
Smith is
tens.
like quarter to quarter, low tens.
Yeah, no.
No, I said low. I meant high tens. Sorry.
So what, like
18, 19.
Yeah.
18, 19?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
what I meant.
Oh,
Sorry,
fair,
that's what I-
fair.
Geno's only got like 2 more touchdowns than picks though. Like I look at him and he makes. I
Dumb
think
plays.
yeah,
He
dumb
does
plays.
make dumb. There's 2 throws this game where you're like, why did you throw that?
Yeah, 100%. But I feel like you need that in a quarterback, though. Like, I don't want my
Yeah.
quarterback to
You get
be...
that in Josh Allen,
Yes, he
but
throws
obviously
picks. Like,
Josh Allen is
He's improved his pick. He's improved.
Oh yeah, only
Oh,
like
yeah.
5 picks.
Yeah.
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 Which is like unheard of for Josh
Oh my
Allen.
and also, for a quick MVP sake, like, back to your point with Lamar, like, if his
Yeah.
record was better, he's got, I think, 27 passing touchdowns
Yeah,
right now?
and
3
then
picks.
Burrow has 30 touchdowns, like
Right.
4 picks.
And
They
if
both
you've
have
seen
3,000
if you've seen
times.
Lamar's 3 picks,
Mm,
not
yeah.
a single one of them is
Yeah.
like, oh, that was dumb.
Yeah.
Which is so
like
impressive.
tipped
for a
or
guy
like
They were
just
deflected.
stripped out of the ball.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
stripped,
Or
yeah.
like
Yeah.
his receiver gets punch the ball out and they catch it. Like none of them.
I just
were,
want to say one thing for MVP.
Mm.
Maybe if Baker Mayfield had a better record, he would be up there. I think he's been that good this year, and obviously he had Mike Evans last game, but he went through 2 games without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah.
Actually 3 more. Yeah.
No, I buy that. And he almost beat the Chiefs without him.
Oh,
without
yeah.
them both.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
And obviously the overtime rule.
Yeah.
That's got to change, in my opinion. But
yeah, I totally agree. It's like, because that rule was made so long ago because it wouldn't cut into the TV broadcast afterwards. No one cares about those shows nowadays. No one cares. It's all about football.
No one's watching.
Exactly. No one's watching CBC to watch like the Murdoch mysteries. Like no one cares. Whatever. Anyways, last thing I wanna discuss. Niners Bills in a snowstorm, which all NFL games should be played in a dome. I don't know why they're not. It's another one of those stupid old school things, but that's a rant for another time. Bills smoke the 49ers. Christian McCaffrey's probably out for the year, considering the Niners' playoff chances are doubtful. I'm loving it because the Lions played the Niners week 17. They'll probably be out of it by then. Nice clean win.
I'm mad.
Why?
Because Christian
Oh, yeah, you got him on fantasy?
Yeah, he's gone for what, 9 weeks?
Yeah.
And then
So I got two questions, and they're open-ended. Are the Bills the best team in the AFC, and where do the Niners go from here? Okay, let's start with you.
Well, just with the Niners, I mean, I don't even know what you do. Because, like, Brock Purdy's going to be due for a contract, but I do not like Brock Purdy. I think he's very reliant on the guys around him, and you give him a contract, some guys start to leave. And so, yeah, it's just dead there. Debo's dropping passes. Obviously, Debo had that altercation with the long snapper.
Debo's looked bad this
Yeah,
year.
and I think he's lost the
what
locker
happened
room.
with the long snapper?
He started cussing him out because they messed up special teams a couple times. It was not good.
Signing Ayuk, he was terrible, then got injured. I mean, it's just been a terrible year for the Niners. It reminds me of the 2020 Niners, but
It totally does.
it's a great organization. They'll get back on track.
Yeah, I agree. But your quarterback point's huge. Because the reason they were able to get back on track so quickly in the past is they always had either Jimmy Garoppolo, which didn't count much against their cap. They did a bunch of wizardry there and then cut him. Or a rookie quarterback on a contract where you're not paying him at all.
Yeah.
So you're able to pay Nick Bosa as the best edge rusher in football. You're able to give Fred Warner a quadrillion dollars. You're able to
Trent
do all of
Williams.
that. Exactly. If you're paying Brock Purdy, because he's gonna want $60 million.
Yeah.
That's I'm flat.
A year, bro?
Yes, that's what
And
he's
that's
going to
crazy
ask for.
because he's getting like
What's the what
I might be-
quarterback's in the most right now per year?
Dak.
Dak's at
Dak's
like
55.
50.
You think he's gonna be the top paid quarterback?
Yes,
how it
that's how the
is.
market works for sure.
And also, I might be wrong, but I think Brock Purdy's making like 900,000.
Not he's making nothing. He's the last
Yeah.
pick of the draft. He's making nothing.
Yeah.
So you go from that to 60 mil. You're gonna have to cut. Probably Ufunga's probably gone.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of their tackles is probably gone. Trent's getting older.
Trent,
Like
yeah.
I think the Niners are coming for a rebuild way faster than their fans care to admit.
Yeah.
And I would keep Kyle Shanahan. Obviously, John Lynch is one of the best GMs in the world. But I wouldn't be surprised if the next 5 years look like a bunch of 7-win seasons for the Niners. To be honest.
Yeah.
Especially with McCaffrey going down and you just paid him might have to cut him at some point. Things are looking a little bleak in San Fran. I can't lie. Which is so crazy considering they were in the Super Bowl 7 months ago.
Yeah. And a Super Bowl, if it was done right by Kyle Shanahan, they would have won, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
And
Are the Bills the best team in the AFC?
yeah, I think they are.
Yeah. Okay, well, I guess I have to stand up for the other side then. I mean, the Chiefs are 11-1. But
Yeah, I think they are 11-1. You have to give them that.
Yeah.
But all the games have been close.
Mhm.
It's just they are able. I mean, a blocked field goal. How do you can't predict that at all?
Yeah.
I don't know.
To seal
The
game,
fumble against the Raiders.
It's close games against bad teams too. It's not like it's against another team that's competing for the Super Bowl. It's against the Cleveland
Raiders.
The
I thought Carolina was going to get them.
Yeah,
I really did.
Yeah.
It's the one possession games that you win against these teams that aren't making the playoffs. Is kind of concerning.
Yeah, and listen, I think the AFC is interesting because Pittsburgh's obviously really good. They're going to win their division. They can't win the Super Bowl.
No.
I think it's kind of like rock, paper, scissors in the way that I think the Bills beat the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs smoke the Ravens, and I think the Ravens smoke the Bills, just off the matchups. But if I were to say best team in the AFC right now, it's hard not to say the Bills considering they've one more loss than the Chiefs do, and they've flatly looked better. But I think depending on the playoff matchups, I think Baltimore could make it to the Super Bowl. Or
Yeah.
and the Chiefs obviously could because they have Patrick.
Yeah.
It's just you never underestimate the Chiefs in the playoffs.
No.
You
I
just
think
can't.
the 1 seed's going to be huge, though. And I know they said that last year about, now the game's in Buffalo. But I really do think it's going to be different this year.
Yeah?
Yeah, for the Bills at least.
This is the best I've ever seen the Bills look with Josh Allen. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is and
I don't think it's the best version of Josh
And
Allen,
with-
though. He's had,
Why is that?
like, 2020 individually, that's the best version. But as a team, he's finally got a run game. He used to be the run game. And now with James Cook, they
Also,
have
that
an
other
athlete.
back.
I was
Who's
gonna
that other back
yeah.
that was running
Ray
yesterday? He
Davis?
was, he
Yeah.
was buzzing. He was playing really
Took
well.
a fantasy touchdown
And
away from
Yeah, he
him.
did
So,
that son of a gun.
Their receiving core isn't the best either, and look at
Yeah.
they're
And
doing fine.
Amari Cooper getting him was huge. Though.
Yeah, and why I would argue this Josh Allen is better is because in 2020 he put up obviously unbelievable individual stats,
Yeah.
but the turnovers, I think he had 27-ish that year. Like it was a
27?
lot, including fumbles.
Oh,
But
I don't know if it.
It was a lot. And I feel like he's playing a lot more winning football nowadays.
Yeah.
Because it seems like he's almost reached the Mahomes level of like, I'm just going to dink and dunk until you underestimate me. And
Yeah.
then I'm going to bomb it on your head. And obviously he's not the most dynamic running quarterback. That's obviously Lamar. But
He can still run though.
well,
Oh, yeah.
like when the ball's in Josh Allen's hands and he's about to run, like I just assume he's going to truck
He's
someone
just
and get a
gonna
first down.
muscle his way.
Like he's just going to get a first
he's
down.
somehow gonna scramble for 20 yards.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lamar, I don't necessarily feel that way. I feel like if you get your arms around him, he's going down.
Yeah.
Josh
But
Allen,
he's slippery.
slippery,
Yeah.
but he's elusive. Josh Allen's just,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Do you guys not even consider though maybe Houston
For what?
for
No.
going to the Super Bowl?
No.
No.
I've,
Not the-
I've,
not
CJ
the
Stroud has
Chargers?
not been playing.
No.
Yeah,
no,
Stroud's not been good, but I
their
think
offensive line's terrible,
if
and
he
their
keep-
secondary's overrated.
if he keeps it going with Nico Collins, like they could get hot.
I disagree.
Yeah.
I think they would get smoked by any of the three teams I mentioned or the Steelers.
Well, they're gonna make it to the divisional because they're gonna win their division and then they're gonna win that playoff, that wild. card
Who
game.
says that? If they play the
Oh, they
Chargers
definitely
round
will.
one, you think that's an automatic
Not the
win?
Chargers. If they played the Broncos, though, who could easily. Be
I'd
the
pick.
sixth seed.
I swear to you, if I might pick the Broncos in that game. The Broncos
In
defense
Houston.
is legit,
Yeah,
and their pass rush is legit. And
Nico
Houston's
Collins
offensive
is
line
getting
is
like
legit bad.
100 yards a game.
On Pat Surtain,
I think so.
you're on crack. There's no way. Pat Surtain's
Nico?
best corner in football right now.
Yeah, he is the best corner in football. But Nico Collins, like before, like obviously Saquon, MVP, not obviously MVP, but obviously Offensive Player of the Year. Before Nico was injured, that was him.
Yeah.
I think if he gets hot, Houston could be dangerous.
I think the top tier of the AFCs it goes Chiefs Bills at the top, and then I'd go Ravens Steelers at that second tier, and then you've got like Houston, the Chargers, the Broncos. Who else would fit in that category? Like the Dolphins, I would say,
Colts,
because
maybe?
they've been good with Tua. When
Yeah,
Tua was
yeah.
out, it obviously ruined their season. But
Yeah.
yeah, Colts are a tier below that to me.
Colts, yeah.
I don't
they
think the
have a
Colts
better
are as good
record
as
than
like the Dolphins or the Broncos.
Really.
Because even though Richardson has been looking good, Richardson's been playing better.
Richardson makes dumb decisions at
He
times,
does.
though.
He does. But he looked good against the
He's a
Lions.
young quarterback.
Not
I
going to
think.
be improved at
Yeah.
least.
He's so raw too. Like,
Yeah.
like just straight talent. He might be number one in the league. Then just
Straight
raw
talent?
talent. Raw talent. Like that guy is a freak.
Not Josh Allen.
I was gonna say something, but I can't say it on the podcast. No, I would say just I don't know. He looks more muscly.
Make it
Yeah.
18 plus then.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
he reminds me of Cam Newton.
No, it's not even 18 plus thing. It's just like I can't say it on a I can't say it on a microphone.
You can't have
You
it.
can assume what I said.
You can't have
but
it traced back to
I
you.
can't have it on the internet. Are there any other games, topics you guys would like to discuss or vibing?
I don't know.
Do you want to talk about your Giants? How about them
I mean,
Giants?
that was
Not
on
much to
Thursday,
talk about.
but,
Yeah, fair enough.
Or just, we didn't mention this Hughes second star of the week.
Hughes second star of the week. Shout out my boy.
9 points in 4 games.
Dog, flat out dog.
Most assists in Canucks defense history.
I didn't get to talk about this after the game because we didn't record a pod, but Lions win against Chicago. Offense balled out in the first half,
Yeah.
and the only reason the Bears had any chance of coming back in the second was because our defense had to be put in bubble wrap. So good for the Bears. They definitely carved up our second strings. They can carve up second strings like nobody's business, but I'd say when our actual defense is on the field, we were going to blow them out by 45, and they were, A, lucky to be in that game. B, that pass interference call on 4th and 15 was the most phantom pass interference call I've ever seen. I wanted to throw my fist through a window. So we should have won anyways.
Yeah,
and the football gods are good. And not only did they figure out a way for the Lions to win and Bears fans to be sad, they also figured out a way for the Bears to lose in another way that I've never seen before. So everything's good in Lions land.
I think it's actually a win for the Bears because they fired Matt Eberflus.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
If a loss was ever a win, that's probably it. I'm terrified about the Lions dropping to the 5 seed. And if we beat the Packers on Thursday, I won't be as worried.
What about Minnesota, though?
I'm not worried about Minnesota.
You're more worried about Green Bay?
Way more.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Really?
Yeah, I think mainly because of their quarterback and their mainly their quarterback, to be honest. Darnold's good, but Jordan Love scares me more.
Yeah.
Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I don't know how long that was, but that flew by for me.
Yeah.
Thank you all so much. Please like the video if you enjoyed what you saw today. Please subscribe. The Spit Sports Show just hit over 360 subscribers. Big things happening on the channel, so if you want to be a part of it, please hit that subscribe button. Please leave a comment if you have any thoughts on what we were talking about today. Obviously, I love talking about sports, so if you comment something about sports, I'll probably reply with something about sports. Thank you all again so much, and I will see you all in the next one.
You want more baseball content?
They don't want more
Let us
baseball.
know.
Peace out!